Welcome back to the channel. It is the end of the year, so I'm doing all of my low buy year kind of wrap up videos. And today I want to talk about the 5 biggest things that I learned from the low buy. I've had so many thoughts about the low buy year that these really needed to be separate videos, so I had enough time to say everything I wanted. I'm just gonna jump right in. I will link down below my kind of more rambly, long-winded thoughts about the low buy year, how I kind of failed my low buy year, and yeah, so that'll be linked down below or up here, or whatever I decide to do, or if I don't decide to do it, I'll probably forget. I initially decided to do a low buy year because I was feeling a lot of anxiety around shopping, and that anxiety came from number 1, knowing that I was doing it too much, and number 2, having this kind of insatiable lust for new items. It just didn't matter what was coming in, I was always wanting more, and I wanted to correct that habit and just kind of reframe my thinking around shopping. So the first thing that I learned is I do not want an aesthetic life. And I think coming to this realization was one of the most prominent, profound things that I realized this year. There's this kind of pressure online, whether you're a creator or not, it really doesn't matter if you're a girl, because let me tell you what, I don't believe men feel this same pressure. If you're a girl online, there is this innate pressure to just be good, look good, have a curated life, have a curated house, your apartment should be decorated, like how many throw pillows do you have? Does your throw pillow match your throw blanket? Make sure all your mugs are cute, your mugs need a coaster, you need a green powder, and your green powder should go in a glass, but the glass needs to be cute because that's the glass that you only use for green powders. You moved into a new apartment, let's do like a restocking vlog, like restock my apartment with me, let's go buy all brand new home decor, and it is freaking exhausting, and I don't want that. I realize I don't want that, and there are other things that I care more about than having an aesthetic curated life. What I'm seeing is that I think young people, and I'm talking about like 35 and younger, I'm seeing people just spend all their money on crap. Like, just crap. This apartment is not decorated to how I would like it to be decorated, but I don't plan on living in this apartment for my whole life. So for me, I just don't find it productive to spend time and money and energy decorating this apartment as if it were my forever home, because I might move somewhere and then have to ship all this crap. So like the way I kind of think about our apartment is one less thing that I have to bring in here is one less thing that I have to bring out. One less thing I have to worry about when we inevitably do move. I don't want to be worried about have like multiple duvet covers. This is the only duvet cover we rock with, okay? I don't need and I don't want an aesthetic life at this point in time, because I think with building an aesthetic life, at least the ones that I see on Instagram, it comes with a lot of shopping. Even in your closet, I see these accounts that are just curated perfectly, and they're always shopping, they're always unboxing, they're always doing hauls, and that is so stressful. Do you know how much I was shopping and then how much time I was spending returning? I bought new bras and I wasn't sure what size I was gonna be, so I ordered 2 different sizes, and I have to go return the other ones, and I want to literally throw a 3-year-old style tantrum on my floor thinking about the fact that I have to walk to UPS, stand in the queue, and wait my turn to return something. And I think that's like the ugly truth of shopping too much. That's the ugly truth of having an aesthetic life, is you're constantly buying, you're constantly returning, you're constantly dealing with where do I put this crap. I think the beauty in having an aesthetic life or a curated life is the time that it takes to get there. So my parents' house is literally gorgeous. Like, my mom is such an aesthetic Pinterest queen, but she has so many cool antiques and things that we got living when we lived in Germany, and things that she's gotten from, you know, deals on Marketplace or thrifted, or you know, she saved up money and bought this really nice new kitchen table, and it just all works, but it's taken her a long time to get there. And I think that's the beauty of it. It's just gorgeous, and it just flows because she really knows herself. Unlike if you're just mass buying everything to put in your home, it just doesn't have that same charm. And it's the same thing with outfits. If you're just buying stuff all the time, it just doesn't have that good charm. Like this shirt I bought in 2019 from H&M. Fast fashion isn't always the devil if you actually wear it, right? Like, this is so cute. It's like so kind of like boho cutie. I love it. And it has a certain charm to me because I've had it for so long. I wore this to a Christmas party. I wore this when I first started dating my husband. It has this history that I think new pieces when you're trying to build an aesthetic life doesn't have. So it's kind of a nuanced conversation because it can be the hobby for some people, and I think a lot of the times inherently feminine hobbies seem to be demonized if you spend money on them. So if you spend money on clothing, if you're a woman and fashion is your hobby, I think a lot of times it's seen as a waste of money. I'm getting this idea from a comment that was left on one of my videos. It's just a really great comment breaking this down. So if decorating your apartment is your hobby, I don't think that's inherently wrong. I think it's inherently wrong when you can't afford it. And right now I can't afford an aesthetic life, and for me it doesn't make sense. It's not my hobby, and I don't want to spend money on furniture or decorations that I know may not fit in a home that we buy or a home that we stay in more long term in the future. So for me, I've learned that I don't want an aesthetic life. Jeez, what's going on with the lighting here? I think a lot of young people feel a pressure to kind of have this curated aesthetic life when they're, going in through college or trade school, or they're building up their careers. It is not the most important thing. Having an aesthetic life is not the most important thing. Speaking of finances, the second big thing that I learned this year was I can make financial progress even when I'm earning a low income. So I am what they call a non-traditional student. Yes. I'm 26. I'm in college. I'll graduate probably in 2026. So for my whole adult life, I have not been making incredible money, and I always kind of use that excuse as to why I couldn't save a lot of money, why I couldn't open a Roth IRA, stuff like that. I was always making excuses to myself for, it's not my fault, it's my wages' fault. Well, guess what, bitch? I saved the most money this year that I've ever saved in my life. I am almost at my fully funded 6-month emergency fund. I started a Roth IRA. I put money into it every single week. And I also started investing money in just a brokerage account. So that was all a lie. And the reason I didn't have any money is because I was shopping too much. And so this year, taking a step back from shopping, I have made the most financial progress that I've ever made in my life. And I really realized that I enjoy prioritizing that. I enjoy feeling stable. Now, this might not apply to everybody because I don't have that many bills and expenses. So me making a low income is easier for somebody making a low income who might have a mortgage, children, right? For some people, you truly just don't make enough money, and I get that. But for me, it was 100% my habits. I was making fine money for my lifestyle, but for some reason, I just couldn't understand that I was spending a lot of freaking money on unnecessary things. Oh my God, the lighting in here just got so funky, but I guess this is more of a listening video, so it doesn't really matter. The third thing that I learned is a low buy or minimal lifestyle might not be for me. And that's okay. If you didn't watch my last video, I talked about how my low buy, I did the rule of 5 where you can only buy 5 brand new items in the whole year, and I went over that. I failed that. So while I don't necessarily want an aesthetic life where I'm buying just a shit ton of stuff, I also don't want a life where it's minimalist. I like clothes. I like jewelry. I like makeup. I like doing these things. I still want to buy something that's a little frivolous. I might want to buy something that I don't 100% need, and that's okay. Again, it comes back to how more feminine hobbies tend to be criticized. So if you're a collector of something, you might have more than someone who isn't. So I think of people who collect, vintage coats, or I collect vintage bags. So I probably have a lot more purses than the average person. And so I want to be able to enjoy things in my life. I'm never ever in a million years going to be a minimalist. I can't think of, frankly, a worse life. The sadness I would feel. I like having things. I like buying things. I like getting excited about things. I just don't want that to be the sole reason for my existence. I don't want to have to work just to afford what I buy. I don't want to buy so much that my closet is just completely overflowing, which kind of leads me into number 4, which is I like shopping, but that is not an excuse to do it all the time. I feel like I kind of treated shopping like more of an event. Even though most of the things that I bought this year, I actually did order online. I think for when I'm just shopping aimlessly, I like to do that in person. I feel like shopping can be still fun even if you don't buy something. So I like shopping as kind of like a social outing. I love going shopping with my mom. I'm always gonna do that. I love going shopping with my husband. My husband loves to shop, which is great. He kind of is a minimalist though. He has 6 shirts, 6 pants, 2 jackets, but he's such a stylish man. And observing how he shops was actually a great inspiration for my low buy year, because he is a very fashionable person and he buys stuff. And when he finds something that he really, really likes, he allows himself to buy it. But it has to be something that he loves. So it was kind of an eye-opening experience observing him in the wild when we would go shopping, because he didn't buy something every time, but if it really struck him, then he would buy it. My mom visited New York twice this year, and I went shopping with her, and the first time when she came in February, I didn't buy a single thing, but I actually tried on a lot. So we went to Anthropologie, we tried on a bunch of stuff, but nothing really struck me like that. I didn't need any of these things. I didn't really deeply want any of these things. And I think previously when I would go shopping, I would use it as an excuse to try to find something. It was almost like the shopping trip was a failure if I didn't buy anything, and that is not my mindset now at all. So I like shopping. I still want to do it. I still like doing it. There's really nothing like getting a coffee and going shopping, walking around the mall, getting lunch at an Olive Garden and going shopping. Oh, that cures my Midwestern heart. Mindlessly shopping in person is a lot different than mindlessly shopping online. I think that is something that I want to stick with this year. Again, I do not want to mindlessly scroll on shopping websites. It's not productive, and ultimately I will find something that I don't need, and then it'll just become like this obsession. Just the mindless scrolling is it's just not good. But for some reason, if you go in person, it doesn't seem as, I don't know, harmful, I guess, because when you're scrolling on like a site like Nordstrom, it's like there's thousands of pages for you to scroll through, where if you go in person, it's a very limited selection, right? You can only see what's in front of you. And the last thing that I learned this year, which is also one of the most important things, is my bigger goals are more important than short-term gratification. It's so funny because when I started the low buy year, in my first video, I said this isn't really about the finances, it's more about my mindset. And now at the end, I can say that it's definitely more about the finances. I guess I just didn't really realize how much of my money I was just burning, right? Like how much I could have that I just tossed in the wind. So I'm still going to monitor my shopping and only buy something that I think has a place in my wardrobe that I can actually reasonably wear, that's something I like, that it's a color that I like. Also, it's something that I've waited on for a while. That's another thing too. Pretty much everything that I purchased this year I'd been thinking about for like 3 or 4 months. So it was a wise purchase. I want to make wise purchases that make sense for me in my life, because constantly buying new things, it's a very short-term gratification, and there's always going to be something else that you want. The want will never end, especially when you're stuck in the cycle of always shopping. And for me, my long-term goals are just so much more important. Like I said, capping off my emergency fund, saving for school. I paid off a school loan this year. That's amazing. Not only did I pay off my student loan, I also paid for my summer class fully cash, which are 2 things that I would not have been able to do if I was constantly just buying shit that ultimately I would donate in like 2 months. That it's just an awful cycle, and paying off my school loan, paying for my summer class with my friggin' debit card felt way better than any little purchase could have made me feel. I felt so proud of myself. I guess that's the best way to describe it. I just felt so proud of myself. I was like, wow. And now for summer 2025, I plan on taking 2 summer classes, and I'm already on schedule to fully fund those, to just pay for it out of pocket. That feeling, knowing that by the time summer comes, I'm not gonna have to get a loan to cover those, it just feels amazing. I mean, there's really nothing else I can say. It just feels so much better than buying some shitty thing from like H&M, right? I think that's another thing that I see young people struggling with online, is just a lack of self-control and just really leaning into instant gratification, always just buying something without thinking. I really hope that's something we see less of, but I doubt it. Just with TikTok and Reels, it's always just pushing like what to buy. And I would just like to de-influence you. Let me de-influence you, girl. Having a savings account, that's hot. Having an emergency fund, having a Roth IRA, having a brokerage account, especially as a woman. Like, these things are just, they're really non-negotiables. This is so much more important. I cannot stand like I'm just a girl, or like girl math. It's not funny. It's not cute. It is not funny to be unprepared in life. And again, I know that people come from all walks of life, and sometimes your financial stability is not in your control. This is America, okay? You break one bone, you're in debt for the rest of your life. So I get it. But if you have the means to cut back, to realize how much you're spending, if you have the means to be shopping all the time, you probably have the means to be saving all the time. It's a very uncomfortable conversation, and it's really uncomfortable to look yourself in the eye and realize that you've been doing Maybe not the completely right thing, but there's always time to switch that around. I'm very fortunate to where I feel like I caught this before it was truly a disaster. I've never been in credit card debt. I pay off my credit cards every single month on time, girl. But even if you are paying off your credit cards, even if you aren't in credit card debt, you could be doing better. So, maybe just self-reflect and see where you can improve, because financial literacy, especially as women, is so important. And no more "I'm just a girl," no more girl math. It's not cute, it's destructive, and it perpetuates a really horrible stereotype about women, that women aren't good with their money. All right? So let's all knock it off. Let's all knock it off and get a little smarter. We cannot prove them right, girls. Okay, I think that's it for me. That's everything I learned from my low buy year. What a year it's been. Let me know if you did a low buy year down below, or a no buy year. Let me know how it went. Let me know if you're gonna do a next year. Tell me how you're gonna adjust your shopping habits, your consumeristic tendencies. Otherwise, that's it for me. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you in my next one.